We have a very important show this morning. We will be the theme of the show is taxpayer-funded bailouts. We're going to have three guests. The first half of the show will deal with the federal bailout of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, which is expected to cost taxpayers as much as $300 billion. And the second half of the show, we're going to examine the possibility of another bailout of the Mendocino County Retirement Fund. Again, the theme of the show is on taxpayer-funded bailouts. Taxpayers are almost never asked to bail out huge institutions, and they always seem to end up footing the bill nonetheless. Well, Jay, what a 2 weeks it's been since our last show.
Yeah, and a quick announcement on the 2 weeks factor. We're going to be going weekly now with The Truth About Money, so we'll be on every Friday for the next 2 to 3 months, something like that. And as always, all our shows are video recorded for ukiahvalley.tv, so you can watch these if you miss them, as well as you can see the stream, listen to the stream of the radio on mcn.org, hosted by mcn.org at kzyx.org.
You know, we have, just like we have a national audience for this show, believe it or not, on KZYX from listeners listening in from the streaming live from the web. I have many friends on Wall Street who listen. We also have very many viewers across the country who watch our show on Ukiah Valley TV. And I want to applaud you and your company, Johnson Media, for really doing almost a Jeffersonian thing, your democracy in its purest form, and that's getting the truth out to people, and that's what we hope to do on this show as well. Well, let's talk about Fannie and Freddie. This was disastrous. These last 2 weeks since we did our last show was disastrous for the American economy, and I think it's going to be disastrous for the American taxpayer as well. It's been very dispiriting to watch the United States financial system, supposedly the strongest in the world, to be brought to its knees. But that's the show we're watching now. It's due to the convergence of three factors: regulators and lawmakers who were asleep, somnambulant, sleepwalking regulators at the SEC and at the Treasury, and lawmakers in Congress, greedy bank executives, who will always do what's best for them, and incompetent board directors. You bring these three things together, and you have something like the $300 billion bailout of Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae. Just to set the stage for this, George Bush, when he first took office, promised America something called the Ownership Society, where he would try to facilitate that every American possible could buy a home. Every American could own a home. It was known as the Ownership Society. It was one of those catchphrases, one of those little soundbite themes. And the Ownership Society didn't quite work out as planned. We've seen the collapse.
Or maybe it did, John.
Or maybe it did. You're right. If we were talking about that earlier, if you're selling short these institutions, and that's a possibility. And as you know, I write for the North Bay Bohemian and the papers of the Alternative Weekly Press, and that's actually one of the things I'm going to be looking at in a future article, is what the possibility was for people profiting on the collapse of these institutions.
Because it's much harder to profit as you're guessing if the stock price is going to go up, and that's what the stock people think that's the way you do this. But the reality is you do it on chaos. That's how you make money in the stock market, is on chaos. So if you can short and long at the same time and then create the chaos and just be in the right place on that wave, that's where you make money. And that's why the wealth distribution has spread now even further than it's ever been, where the richer 1% are controlling 80-some-odd% of the world's money.
Well, if your media enterprise doesn't work out, we've got a job for you in the hedge fund industry. I've worked...
well, remember, John, the media is the one that's actually creating this. That's why I'm in the media background, because the media is what is for good, better or worse, actually creates this. So I'm hoping with Ukiah Valley TV and KZYX here that we can actually spread media for the good as opposed to the Murdoch.
So it's exactly right. It's the Murdoch type enterprises the working hand in hand with big money interests that actually can cause a run on the bank. I was about to say I've worked in the offshore banking industry for probably the last 20 years. One of the things that Tim Knutson said about me last night was that I haven't managed onshore money in years and don't have the SEC licenses, what have you. Well, I've managed offshore money, billions of dollars of offshore money for the last 20 years, and the driver behind our trading strategies is something called chaos theory. So when I say, if this doesn't work out for you, we have a job for you, you're exactly right. Traders look for chaos. Chaos creates uncertainty in markets, which creates volatility in markets, which creates trading opportunities. And you make money probably more easily on the collapse of something than you do in the appreciation of value of something.
Especially if you can prime that collapse.
Right, and usually collapses happen a lot more quickly and a lot more dramatically than the slow appreciation of value. All right, so we've set the stage for this bailout. I mean, I can go on and on. I'd rather have our guests go on and on. Our first guest is going to be Robert Pollin, Bob Pollin. Mr. Pollin is the Political Economy Research Institute's founding co-director